Thank you for taking a look at our RentalDesk system from Navigator Systems. My name is Greg Smith, and I'm the training manager for Navigator Systems. Allow me to take you through our RentalDesk product and give you a quick introduction. This will take about 10 minutes all in all. What we're going to do is actually start out in the job book, and so when you click on the jobs, this will display a list for you of all the jobs that are currently in the system. Just to give you an idea of how RentalDesk sorts and arranges the equipment, I'll actually go over here, and just to show you, this is a list of recently accessed jobs that I've got. I'll go here to this AGLA party, and using the tree view I'll click out, and I wanted to show you the fact that you can have a single job, but within that job you can have multiple equipment lists. So in this case you'll see I've got 3 separate equipment lists for the AGLA party, but then I've only created one invoice for the whole job. So you can create as many equipment lists, so if you have different venues or different locations that you're going to, you can create a separate equipment list for each one of those venues. Same thing with the documents. You'll see here there's a listing of documents, of Word documents that I've created as well. Now, in this recently accessed, I would obviously be working there, but I can also click back on the search and locate all my jobs. You'll notice over here there's a list of filters that you can set. So for instance, you can set a start date and an end date, or look for a specific client, even a different status as well. But one of the most useful functions is this planner view that you see right here, and this graphs out for you all of your jobs that you've got going on over the next 4 months. Realistically, you can adjust it. If I take it down to 3, it'll just show me 3 months, or if I click here, it'll only show me the next 2 months as well. Double clicking on any of those jobs will take you directly to that job. For our demonstration, we're actually going to go ahead and create a new job. So I'll click up here and say New Job, and then you'll see it automatically assigns it a new job reference number and assigns me as the job manager. And then from here I would give it a job title. I don't know, we'll say that this is the Office Max rental right here. And then I would come down here and I would pick out who the client is for that particular event. So if I go down here and I scroll down, or if I just say FOX, I can pick out Fox Corporation, and then you'll see it'll dump all that information right into the job here. Now, as I mentioned, you can have multiple equipment lists. So you might have an equipment list that goes out on the 3rd of December and comes back on the 5th, and another equipment list that goes out on maybe the 2nd and comes back on the 6th. But the job dates refer to the overall event dates, from when the first piece of equipment goes out to the door to when the last piece of equipment comes in. So I'll go here and I'll say that maybe this is going to start on the 9th, and then maybe it's going to end on the 15th right from there. I would go ahead and pick out a status for the job as well, and quotations don't actually reserve equipment. That's pretty important to understand. Quotes are just quotes. However, if you're pretty certain it's going to happen, then you either need to set it to provisional or confirmed for your status. We'll go ahead and say this is a confirmed order. And then you can pick out a job type. These are defined by you based on your business segments that you've got going on. So if I wanted to go in and say maybe this is just a straight equipment rental, I can do that. I can also pick out from a list of contacts, or I can go in and type in a name. So maybe I'll go ahead and say Tom Fassett, and then I can enter his number, 480-555-, too many digits there, 6565, and you can have up to 3 different contacts. You'll notice that there's some buttons down here. These are customer notes, so you can see that Fox is a good customer, David's their accounting contact, and then you can also put in job notes. Maybe you're supposed to see Bob in security for access passes. So we can plug that in, and you'll notice that those notes down here in the customer notes have turned green, indicating that there's notes stored in there. This page usually takes about a few seconds to enter, so it's not a real big deal to put that information in. And typically the next step I would do is then go create an equipment list. So I'm going to go up here to the New button, and you'll see there's a drop down, and I'll say create a new equipment list for me. Now automatically it assigns it the job number and an equipment list reference number, and I can go in and say maybe this is the sound equipment for the title. So we'll go ahead and put that in right here. And then the venue is the Fox Corporation, but we're not actually doing the show at Fox, we're actually doing it at the Marriott Hotel. So I'll click back on here and hit the drop down, and I'll type in the Marriott Hotel, and you'll see it's going to dump all the information. Oops, let's see here, I'll go here to the Marriott Hotel, and then it'll dump all that information right in there. In this case we're going into the Palms Ballroom. Now I'll come back here, and you'll notice my start date and my end date and the charge days. I've set my pricing scheme, and so when we're actually ready to enter a piece of equipment, I'll go here and say add a new line. Now, once I've selected and I click my mouse on the description window, this opens up what's called the pop stock window, which now displays a list of all of your equipment that's in your inventory, and it will also show you the availability of your equipment right down here in this column. Now, locating equipment is very, very simple. If I wanted to, say, find a microphone, I'll just type MIC-R for microphone. It doesn't matter how many characters I type. I type in MICR, and there's everything that has microphone in it. If I hit the backspace and type in mic, there's all my microphones. And you'll notice that it doesn't matter where in the description those three letters appear, whether it's a real-time audio analyzer microphone or a mic clip. It searches the whole description. Maybe I want to find some wireless, so I'll type WIR. There's all my wireless. So you see how quickly it filters down. If I type SHU, there's all my Shure wireless microphones. Then all I have to do is click my mouse and say I want a handheld and a lav, and then I'll say OK. It'll add both of those pieces of equipment. The pop stock will reopen, ready to select my next piece of equipment. Now, the cool thing about this is you can select multiple pieces of equipment. So if I went in here and I just said, let's type in SPE for speaker, you'll see there's all this listing of equipment. And showing me my availability, I simply go down the list and say, well, I need one of those and maybe one of those. We'll take one of those. I'll go down here to these AE5s. We'll maybe take 12 of those. See, it shows me my 28 available. I've got some UPA, so we'll take 4 of those. I might go here now and type in PROJ for a projector, and it'll bring up all my projectors. And so I can go down the list here and say I need one of those and one of those. If at any point you're not sure what you have in your basket, just simply click the basket button and it'll show you everything that you've selected, and then you can go back and continue searching. Now that I've got all that stuff selected, I just go ahead and press OK. It's going to go through and it says, by the way, the associated items, the Apogee AE5s typically require an amp rack to go with them. I don't actually want any amp rack, so I'm going to go ahead and say 0 on the amp racks, and I'll go ahead and say OK. It adds all that equipment to the order, and I'm ready to enter my next piece. I do want to point out a couple things to you. You'll notice the ultimate support stands showed up. We actually have a shortage of those ultimate support stands. That's why it's in red, indicating that I need to come up with 2 more ultimate support stands. Now, I can also go in and apply a discount to this order, so I'll click up here under the discount and I'll say apply a 20% discount to this, and it will go down and apply a 20% discount to everything. But you can also adjust that discount on a line item basis. So maybe on these particular pieces, on these speaker timers, I only want to give a 10% discount, but maybe on the 16mm projector I want to give a 25% discount. You can also work the other way, where you can just type in a dollar amount. So I'll type in $120 and it'll work out the discount for you in order to arrive at our pricing then at that point. Now, once I've got my list selected and put together, let's resize a few things here. I will point out to you that you have notes fields, so you can go into your notes fields and make sure you clean these up. All right, so I've alerted my warehouse guys to the fact that the speakers need to be cleaned before they go out. I can also put in a notes field in here, and maybe I'll say load in through the kitchen. And say OK, and I plug those notes in right from there. Now, as I've entered that information, I simply go here and I say File, Print, Prep Sheet, and there's my prep sheet for my guys in the warehouse. And you'll notice as I go down, there's my note that I plugged in a few minutes ago, and there's all my information for this particular order. So we'll close that. Now, there's one other function that comes in very handy on these equipment lists, and that's the section headers. What I can do is I can come in here and say maybe this is my sound equipment, so I can go ahead and do that. And then I can also click up here and say maybe I want to add a section, so maybe this is electrical equipment here. So I can break up my equipment list into different sections as I need to. I can also go in and add free text into this equipment list. So maybe under the electrical equipment I'll say 100-foot extension cords to be bought at Home Depot. I don't know. You can put anything you want basically into this free text item. So you can take your equipment list and put in free text, or you can also break it up into different sections. You can also move your equipment around, so maybe I want to drag that and put that up there if I need to as well. Some really useful features in terms of how to arrange your equipment list. We'll jump out of the jobs book for just a moment. We're going to run down to the planner book, and the planner is where you can take a look at all your equipment. So if I wanted to, these are what we call master categories. I'll click out here on sound, for instance, and now it's showing me the availability of all my equipment that's in the sound master category. If I wanted to narrow that down a little bit and say maybe I just want to see speakers, I'll click on the speakers category, and now here's all my speakers that are listed out. You'll notice the Apogee AE5s at the top of the list. It shows me that I own 38. The lowest number I'm going to have available is 16. So as I scroll across here, you'll see I've got 38, 38, and then on the 6th I dropped to 28, and then over here on the 9th is when I drop from 28 down to 16. So there's where my equipment is. If I click on the day, double click on it, it'll actually show me all the equipment lists that require those Apogee AE5s. So you can see that availability right from there. If I click down here on speakers, I can also take a look at all the movements of the AE5s. So there's the AE5s showing me all the equipment lists graphed out to where they're going to be. But maybe I even want to do a comparison of my AE5s. So I'll say show me Meyer UPAs and compare those to my Apogee AE5s. So when I click here and click here, it'll actually graph out for me the comparison of those two different types of speakers as well. I will point out to you, if you go to your barcode, you can actually see where your barcodes have been scanned out as well, because RentalDesk does support full barcoding as well. The overdues list is everything that did not come back on time, so this is pretty important. I'll go here to my shortfalls page, and it'll show me all the equipment that I'm going to be short. So this is all my problem equipment, so I need to rent 2 more ultimate support stands starting on the 9th, right from there. So you can see everything that all your equipment movements that you need right from the planner window. We'll just very quickly touch on the address book. This is just where you have all your information about your companies. So if I go down here, for instance, and I say show me Fox Corporation, here's all their information. I've got a settings field that shows me what their discounts are, account information, account references, terms. They're one of our top customers, and they're also a customer there as well. And you can also then go back here and you can see any people that are associated with that company as well. The equipment book is where you actually enter your inventory, and I like to use this tree view as an explanation for how RentalDesk sorts and arranges the equipment. These are what we call master categories right down the list here. So I've got sound, lighting, video, and so on and so forth. Then within the sound category, master category, for instance, if I click here, I can go down and see all of the categories that are in the master category of sound. So I'll click on, for instance, sound equipment, and there's all my sound equipment. Or I might go down here, and just to keep it consistent, we'll go up here to speakers, and there's a listing of all my speakers. So these are the actual equipment types that we have. So there's my Apogee AE5s. Information that's stored about your equipment, you notice you'll have an optional description right here, what category, how many you own, daily rental rates. Dimensions are very useful: weight, height, length, and width. So you can calculate your volume and your weights of your orders as well. And then this is where you can put in your additional suggested parts that go with your equipment. You can also put in a picture of your equipment as well, load it in. It'll show you your stock trail every time you've either added to your inventory or taken away from your inventory right from there. I will point out then, we'll click on the AE5s. This now takes it down to the barcode level. So these are individualized, serialized pieces of equipment right from here. So there's my AE5s. Here's barcode 00123. Its manufacturer's serial number. You can see when you purchased it, how much you paid for it, when you disposed of it, and when you how much you disposed for it as well. So this will give you that, and then you can also see the rental history of every time that barcode has been checked out. So RentalDesk is a full-featured rental management system for the smaller business enterprise. It's got all the tools that you need in order to take care of your inventory. If you have any questions, contact Navigator Systems. You can send an email to sales@rentaldesk.net, and someone will get back to you right away. My email address, again, is Greg Smith, and it's gsmith, G-S-M-I-T-H, at HireTrack, HireTrack.com. Thanks for looking at our rental desk, and we hope to hear from you soon.